We're going to look at a method of factorising quadratic expressions where the highest term is just a plain x squared. Make sure you've written the equation or expression in this order: x squared, then the x, then the number on the end. And usually it's already like this, just don't let your guard down, especially in an exam. You may have to reorder it so it is in this order. So step one, we just write the brackets with the x in, and it will always be true with this type of quadratic expression. Step 2, circle the number on the end, being careful to include the sign. Step 3, we write down all the pairs of numbers, whole numbers, that multiply to give this plus 6. Be systematic. Does 1 times some number equal plus 6? Well, yes, 1 times 6. Does 2 times some number equal 6? Well, yes, 2 times 3 equals 6. And we stop at 3 because we're meeting up with what we've got on the other side. Having written your set of numbers, write a second set of numbers, exactly the same. However, put in the opposite signs. So all of these are plus, so these will all be minus. And you can see that because we were trying to get a plus 6, then we want minus 1 times minus 6 would still give us plus 6, and minus 2 times minus 3, that would also give us plus 6. So never forget, you'll get a second set of numbers with different signs. Step 4, we're going to circle the middle number, including the sign. And from our list of numbers, we're going to choose the pair of numbers that sum to this middle number, which is plus 5. And of course, it's these two numbers here. And step 6, we simply write these numbers in the brackets, being careful to include the signs. And that's it done, factorised. An easy way to make this type of question more difficult is to start introducing negative signs. And the method's just the same. The problem only comes about when students take shortcuts. So the moral of the story is follow each step carefully and you won't go wrong. So step 1, we'll write our brackets with the x in. Step 2, we circle the number on the end, including the sign. And step 3, we'll write down all the pairs of whole numbers that multiply to give minus 6. So does 1 times some number equal minus 6? Well, yes, 1 times minus 6 would be minus 6. Does 2 times some number equal minus 6? Well, yeah, 2 times minus 3. And we stop because we're going to meet up with our number again. Don't forget, again, we're going to write out our second set of numbers. And just as before, with the opposite signs. So these were pluses, so these become minuses, and these were minus, so these stay as plus. And so we can see here that yes, because we wanted a minus 6, we need the signs to be opposite. So all of these pairs of numbers give us minus 6. Circle the number in the middle, including the sign. And from our list, choose the pair of numbers that sum to this. So we're looking for plus 5. This would be minus 5, this would be minus 1, and this would be plus 5. So we can see here how important it was that we wrote our second list of numbers. Plus 5 didn't feature in the first set, so we'd have been stuck. It was only by having our second set of numbers we can be sure we'll get the value we need. And step 6, we simply write these numbers in the brackets, being very careful to include the signs. Let's do one more. Step 1, we write out our x's in the brackets. We circle the number on the end, including the sign, and we write down all the pairs of whole numbers that give us minus 12. And I'm being systematic as always. Does 1 times some number equal minus 12? Yes, 1 times minus 12 would. Does 2 times some number equal minus 12? 3 times some number, yes, and you need to be good with your times tables with this, obviously. And by the time we get to 4, we're meeting up at the other side, so we stop. But as before, we'll always have a second set of numbers. I'll just write the numbers straight out. And the signs will always change over to the opposite. So all these pluses become minus, and these minus become pluses. And you can see here, because we wanted a minus 12, we need the signs to be opposite. Now step 4, we circle the middle number, including the sign. Now sometimes this does cause confusion because there isn't a number there, but hopefully you remember that actually we've got a 1 here. And it's just that sometimes when we've got 1 or something, we don't actually write the number. But the sign is always very important. And so that is -1. And so from our list of numbers, we're going to choose the pair that sum to give us -1. No, no, and here we have it. 4. And we just write these in the brackets, taking careful note of the sign. And again, I'm sure you know that where we haven't put in a sign, it's going to be a plus. And that's it done.